Hello and welcome, my dear friend. You're not hearing this out of coincidence or luck. This is much more than that. It's God leading everything, including you being led here at this exact time. So stay with me until the end, because this might be one of the most important messages you ever hear. Not just to encourage you, but to prepare you for the holiest encounter of your entire life. Because you, dear one, are about to meet God. But maybe not in the way you thought, not in thunder or lightning, not in some dramatic explosion of power. This meeting, it's going to happen in the real fabric of your everyday life. And before we go further, let's set something straight. We've been taught, maybe even unconsciously, that being worthy of meeting God means being spotless. No mistakes, no doubts, no weak moments. We think we need to say the right words, feel the right things, do everything right, or we're disqualified. But don't be surprised when I tell you, that's not how He sees you. The kind, forgiving God doesn't want that kind of performance from you. It's like you not loving your child because they made a mess with their toys. It's not even possible. And if you're a parent, you already know what I mean. When your child screams, spills, or stumbles, you don't pull away. You don't withhold your love to teach them a lesson. You move toward them. You scoop them up. And even if you're not a parent, you've seen it. In the way a mother wipes her child's tears without being asked. In the way a father instinctively reaches out to steady their steps. That's what love looks like. So why is it so hard for some of us to believe that God, who is infinitely more kind than anyone, feels that way about us? Why do we assume that our sadness, our doubts, our failures push Him away? Dear one, He is not repelled by our mess. He is drawn to our honesty. He's not waiting for you to get it all right before He shows up. He's been with you the entire time, even in the frustration, the numbness, the late-night conversations with yourself that no one else knows about. And now, He's getting ready to reveal Himself. Don't look for God in grand revelations with lightning bolts. Don't wait for the sky to crack open or for a stranger to walk up and speak in perfect prophecy. Look for Him in what's already here. In the way a child laughs while you're stuck in traffic. In the unexpected calm you felt in the middle of a day that should have broken you. That's the art. To see Him where most overlook. To feel heaven's hand not in the thunder, but in the thread, holding your peace together when nothing makes sense. If you close your eyes on what's missing for just a second and open them to what is, you'll see it. You're already so blessed. You're already being guided. You're already surrounded by signs too subtle for the eye, but too loud for the spirit to ignore. God doesn't just show up in temples. He shows up in tiny confirmations. In the meal you didn't think you had energy to make. In the friend who called just before you gave up. In the tears that finally fell after weeks of holding it together. You want to meet God? Don't start with the sermons. Start with what actually happened last night, when you sat on the edge of your bed too tired to pray, but somehow still whispered His name. Start with the ache in your chest when you wanted to give up, but didn't because something inside you said, just one more day. Because when you can see Him in that, you start to see Him in everything, even in what breaks you, because it's also what builds you. Even in the moments that sting, because they shift your path toward your truest self. This isn't about waiting for an encounter. It's about noticing you've already been having one. You don't need to clean yourself up first. You don't need to perform anything special. You just need to pay enough attention to see what's already true. And maybe that's what this whole season has been teaching you, not how to reach Him, but how to realize He never left. Maybe you were waiting for abundance, love, or an easy life to feel God. Maybe you thought things had to line up perfectly for you to believe He's here. But it doesn't work like that, my dear. You imagined peace, maybe, or answers. But what showed up first was interruption. Like your favorite song suddenly didn't hit the same. Like you've been walking through the day wearing shoes that are just slightly too tight. Everything fits, but not really. Everything works, but it grates. That's how God begins to move in your life. Not by changing everything at once, but by making the familiar feel slightly too loud, slightly too hollow, not broken, just exposed. Maybe this is the moment to notice. It's time to leave behind what no longer fits. You didn't ask for this, but it's happening. You're not falling apart. You're just too close to something holy to keep pretending it's all fine. And maybe you've been frustrated by that, wondering why nothing feels enough right now, why the prayers feel repetitive, why the routines you built with care suddenly feel like they're caging you instead of carrying you. This is how God clears up the space for revealing himself to you. You're being led out of your old way of relating to God and into something that isn't based on formula, or the right words, or doing things correctly. Because that's what we think holiness is, right? Never missing a step, never messing up, never doubting or saying the wrong thing. But if that were the requirement to meet God, who among us could ever be ready? The truth is simpler. We don't meet God because we're flawless. We meet him because he's kind. And maybe you've been taught to impress God with your strength, to show up polished, to speak with certainty, to only approach him when your faith is shining and your hands are clean. But can I tell you something? God is not impressed by performances. He moves by presence. And even more than that, he's drawn to honesty. The moments you drop the act, the nights you whisper prayers that start with, "I don't know what to say anymore." The days you go quiet, not because you're ignoring him, but because you're exhausted and still trying to believe. That's not failure, that's intimacy. Because the realest relationships are built in the quiet moments, the unfinished ones, the messy middles, the days when you don't have answers but you show up anyway. That's where God meets you. Not when you've mastered the process, but when you finally let go of trying to deserve him. Do you really believe he'd stop walking with you just because you had a breakdown? Just because you've been frustrated? Just because you felt nothing when you prayed yesterday? Please, don't confuse spiritual sensitivity with instability. You're not spiraling. You're not too emotional. You're just waking up to what's real. You've been given more discernment than you're used to, and that's why everything feels a little too loud lately. You're overwhelmed because what's coming is weighty, because God is pulling something closer to you that will change the way you see everything. And you're not going to meet him through some perfect ritual. You're going to meet him in the middle of your real life, on the day you oversleep, on the day you forget the words, on the day your chest tightens with uncertainty. He shows up then, not to test you, to reveal himself, in ways you've longed for but never had language for. And I want you to remember this. When God gets close, you don't always feel safe at first. Because when he draws near, you feel every crack. You notice every mask. You see things in yourself you didn't want to face. Not to shame you, to free you. This is what holy feels like when it's real. It shakes you before it soothes you. So if you've been feeling like you're unraveling a little, if it's been hard to concentrate, if it feels like your words get caught in your chest and you can't explain what's happening to the people around you, this is it. This is the space where he steps in. He's not waiting for you to level up. He's not asking you to become someone else. He's not pacing back and forth, wondering if you're good enough yet. He's been walking with you this whole time, quietly, gently, through every failed attempt to get it right. And now, finally, he's preparing to let you feel him, not just believe in him, not in a church service, not in someone else's voice, but in the way your breath slows when you stop running from yourself. In the way you face life, its softness and harshness all together. That's what a divine encounter looks like sometimes. No flash, no spotlight, just truth. And once you've touched it, even once, you won't go back to pretending again. So don't shrink. Don't downplay what you're sensing. And for God's sake, literally, don't try to become perfect first. Let Him meet you where you are, not who you could be, not who you used to be. Here, now, as you are. And in the stillness that follows, you'll know you're not waiting to meet God anymore. You already have. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If you found value in this message, please like the video and share it with others who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe and continue your amazing journey by watching one of the videos showing on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there.